Hello and welcome back to the Go for Two podcast and welcome into our Week 12 preview. I'm Liam, your host, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Muggs NFL. How are you doing on this fine, what we at 5 o'clock on a Thursday after work? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. Unfortunately, I have to go back to work after this podcast, so this is the best part of my day. But can't believe it's been 11 weeks since I was in Philly for week 1, and then it's 9 weeks since me and you were in New York for week 3. That feels insane that we're in week 12, to be honest.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's the last time the Chiefs won, wasn't it? Week 3, I think, from what I remember. There we go. This season has gone, I don't know if it's just me, but this season's gone by really quick. We are 1 week away from Thanksgiving and a pretty average week 12 maybe, but next week, week 13's got some really good games. So we'll make sure next couple of weeks we've got some good games to talk about. But we do preview all the games, even the ones that aren't very good. And we're going to pick all the games against the spread like we do. The scores on the doors is 86-83 to me. So 3-point lead. We tied in the end last week, thanks to the Packers covered by half a point maybe and got you a sneaky point at the end. So 3-point lead for me heading into this week. How confident are you you're clawing that back this week?
We always say when there's bad games on the schedule, like there is at 9 p.m. this week, they're the toughest weeks to predict right on the spread, I think. The more bad games you get, the tougher it gets later in the season.
Yeah, 100%. I think some of the injuries as well, I think towards the middle of the season, were killing us a bit where some of the spreads were all over the place. Now those players start to come back. So in theory, our score should get better because we didn't score any points last week, but we'll see how we do on week 12. Cool. Let's go through the games then. Most people will be listening to this on Friday, but we will still quickly touch on Thursday Night Football. We have the Bills at Texans and a pretty good game actually for Amazon Prime. The Bills are favored on the road by 4.5 points. CJ Stroud is ruled out, but he is practicing again now, so he'll be back next week. So they get one more week of Davis Mills, and then CJ Stroud will be back to try and take them in that battle for the 5, 6, 7 seed that they seem to be in. This should be quite a fun game. I'll be interested to see how the Texans defense does against the Bills. I know the Bills scored a lot of points last week, but I'm thinking this might be a low scoring game.
Same. This is a really interesting challenge for how Allen's going to cope with that defense, because we said last week every time they win he seems to be strapping everything on his back, right, and going. But this is potentially the best defense in the AFC and the NFL, and they've clawed their way back to 500, Houston. So even with Davis Mills, I think they're going to want to look at beating Buffalo on this Thursday night. I don't think they're going to be any scared at all of these coming in when they've been wrought with mistakes, Buffalo, at times, to be honest with you. And with Houston's schedule coming up, they kind of need to take this game.
Yeah, they got a tough schedule, really tough schedule.
Really tough.
I still think it's difficult to go into any game with Davis Mills and say we need to take this game and we're going to score enough points. But the defense is really good. The run game is actually getting better, kind of week on week. Which is a positive position for when CJ Stroud comes back. But yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get with Davis Mills. He can run the offense relatively well, but he does always have those games like most backups do where it's 3 picks or it's a fumble and it's 4 3rd and 10s that go for 4 yards and they're off the field. Yeah, but I think their defense will be pretty motivated to try and cause some problems, get a turnover, hope the special teams can do something and just win a really close game. Because like you said, the Texans schedule is pretty difficult. And for the Bills, right, regardless of what people think, people think the Patriots are, shoo-ins to win the division, but the Bills will still be thinking they can keep pace, right? Their goal will be stay as close to the Patriots as we can before we play them, beat them, and then see where kind of the cards fall after that. But yeah, it's a big game for both teams.
Well, they go Houston, then at Pittsburgh, home to Cincinnati, before then going to New England in mid-December. So if you're keeping pace with them and you win that game, then it's all on the last 3 games, isn't it? And then we'll kind of see what New England are kind of going to be made of in that way. So, yeah, huge game tonight. This feels like one of the better and bigger Thursday night footballs of the season.
Is it good enough to make you stay up for it a week before Black Friday?
Absolutely not. No, 1:15 kickoff. It doesn't have the Eagles. No.
It's better, but still not big enough for Patrick to stay up.
I don't think it'd be possible, actually, for me to stay up, to be honest.
No, true. Right, let's pick it then. Bills minus 4.5 on the road. I don't mind going first because I'm in the lead. I am going to go Bills minus 4.5. I do think it'll be lower scoring, but I could see them winning by 7 to 10 points. I don't think Davis Mills are going to have another game with low turnovers, so I'm going to go for the Bills defense to be opportunistic and win a game.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I think if it was CJ Stroud, obviously the line may be a little bit different, but I think Buffalo are going to come in and take the win, cover the spread.
Yeah. If CJ was playing and this was the spread, I think I'd probably go the other way. It wouldn't be the spread probably, to be honest, if CJ was, but yeah, I would definitely go the other way. On to Sunday then. No international games we were talking about off air, so we don't get our afternoon football, which is a bit disappointing. I kind of have to start with this game. It's the biggest game of the week, potentially, I guess. Colts at Chiefs. What do you think the spread is?
Oh, I've been waiting for this spread.
Do you know, you haven't listened to any pods?
No, I don't listen to any kind of pods that I was betting on. The Bill Simmons one, as the guest, the line's on. But to be honest with you, because I listen at night, I often fall asleep before that bit comes on because it's usually a 2-hour pod and they usually just bet for the last half an hour. So I have no clue. I'm going Chiefs.
It's Chiefs 3.5.
Wow, is it?
It is.
And
they are officially Vegas' second best team still in the NFL by kind of betting spread power rankings. So there we go. Must win for the Chiefs, as we all know. Big game for the Colts, obviously. They're obviously going to win the division, I think, but the other teams below them are still winning games, so they'll want a bit more of a breathing room before they have to play each other, trying to win this game. Obviously, Daniel Jones, it's a big game for him. Hasn't played as well in the last couple of games. The defense has got better. He's kind of regressed a bit. But it's a big game for him to go in on the road and prove before the playoffs, similar to what we say with Sam Darnold. If he can go in and win a game in Arrowhead and play well and pass the ball well, then all it'll do is give that team more and more confidence to make a run in the playoffs, which I think, a lot of analysts across the podcast I listen to think that they can, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. So I think that's going to be important for Daniel Jones. Colts welcome back Travarius Ward as well, ex-Chief. So you're going to have Ward and Sauce Gardner starting on the outside. And then, Chiefs welcome back probably Isaiah Pacheco to play running back as well for this game, it seems like. So, big game. I'll let you start because, I've been thinking about this team and this game too much. So where's your head go when you think Colts-Chiefs at 6 o'clock, by the way, with Tony Romo?
That's a blessing, by the way, that this game is at 6 o'clock. This is the second screen for me. I'm sure, obviously, you'll have it on your main. But number one, before I go into my thoughts about the game, the Colts, this is a must-win for Kansas City, obviously. The Colts have a great record. However, they played the Texans twice, the Jags twice, the Seahawks and the 49ers after this. There is not a game on the schedule that looks like for Indianapolis that is also not a must-win because the division is still definitely up for grabs considering if Houston get a win and the Jags are still pulling wins out. So for me, it feels right up there. If Daniel Jones can play mistake-free football late in the season, I think they've got a great chance to win this game with the insane run game. Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year should be nailed on, to be honest. But
agreed, yeah.
He has to stay mistake-free. And we're talking about fumbling and we're talking about silly interceptions. At some point, every team has giveaways, but when they come in bunches. And if they come in bunches in this game, the punishment could be harsh and they could be playing from behind for a lot of the game. I don't think that's not going to be Indianapolis's game. They need to play from the front. So for me, I just have to look at Daniel Jones and think, if you can play mistake-free football, you'll have a good chance, I think, to win this game. But if you don't, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, it feels like as a neutral, obviously turnovers can come anytime. The first 2 or 3 drives for the Colts were very key, isn't it? In terms of, is he looking settled in the pocket? Is he throwing the ball where the other team can get it? Even if there's no picks, I think Daniel Jones is one of those quarterbacks where early on where you're like, is he settled or is he kind of all over the place? Because Spags is going to blitz him, right? He's not going to, it's a good offensive line. He's not going to let him sit back there and pat the ball for 5 seconds. He's going to try and blitz him and just live with the results. So, I'm with you that if I was a Colts fan, you'd probably want the ball first, run the ball well, play action. I think that's their keys. The Chiefs are actually the worst team in the NFL on defense against play action. Colts obviously do play action a lot because Jonathan Taylor gets the run game going. So if they get the run game going, go to the play action. Chiefs are also second worst team in the NFL defending tight ends. Tyler Warren, play action. That's the way for for them to score points is just
chunk plays is going to be really, really important, and not just 6-7 yards going. Chunk plays of 15 to 20 plus is going to be really important for them, because their offense lives off that as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And you're in a situation where the other team's nervous. The fans are going to be. Weirdly the first game probably since the playoff game where the home fans are going to be like, this is important. We have to win.
This is like a de facto kind of playoff game, really, for Kansas City, because getting so tight now, and you can't trust that not going to lose another game just because, despite whatever the schedule would say. So it's a de facto playoff game. Same for Houston, really, when you kind of look at it that way in the Thursday night game. Just give them the record.
Yeah, the way the AFC's going, you've got to win a lot of games now if you're those teams that are trying to get back into the playoff race. Yeah, those Colts can make big plays, kind of quieten the crowd down. That's kind of what they should be aiming to do. If it starts the other way and you're getting a couple of sacks or you're getting a turnover and you're getting a big Mahomes pass down the field, that's not where the Colts want to be on the road, especially. So I'll be interested to see how the game starts. From a Chiefs point of view, I don't really know what to say. The Colts run a lot of man coverage. Chiefs are not very good against man coverage. Feels, to be honest, like it's going to be a Travis Kelce day and a Mahomes, you've just got to be the best player on the field day. That's what it feels like to me. I don't think it's going to be a smooth offense that scores 30-odd points. It's going to be one where it's 3 and out, and the next drive it's 3rd and 11, and Mahomes completes a pass for 30 yards or scrambles for 12. That's what it feels like to me for this game, because I think the Colts defense with Lou Anarumo and those two corners will be quite hard to beat with our wide receivers.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's just a fascinating matchup. I'm glad I'm sat on the outside of it, because obviously I've had years of Philadelphia kind of being like a 500, and then you hoping to get to the end of the wild card thing. But obviously that's not really Kansas City's hopes at all, just making the playoffs like it used to be really for the Eagles, like fandom. But I can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be super, super close unless Daniel Jones gives it away early.
Yeah, and we'll see if the Chiefs can be the only team in the NFL to not win a one-score game this season. So we'll see if they can buck the trend if it is close and try and win that game. But yeah, not much else I want to say, because I keep praising elements of the Chiefs every week and then they lose. So let's end it there. But I do think the Colts are going to score a lot of points. I think if the Chiefs win, they're going to have to score late 20s. It's not going to be 19 points like it was last week. I just don't see the Chiefs being able to stop Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren as long as Daniel Jones doesn't throw 3 picks. So, yeah, I think it'll be high scoring. You to pick first, deliberately. That's why I put it in this order. Chiefs minus 3.5. Where are you going?
I'm going to go Kansas City, I think.
I feel like we pick the Chiefs every week. I know it makes sense for me. Yeah, I don't want to lose a point to you on my own team, so I'll go Chiefs minus 3.5. But if you'd have said Colts, I would have said Colts as well. I do generally think the Chiefs win the game and Mahomes plays really well, and then I think then you're on to Dallas and the Houston Texans, which again probably games they have to win, which I'd be just as scared about. So yeah, I'll go for the Chiefs. I'm glad this one's at home rather than on the road. Next game then, another really important game for one of these two teams in particular. We've got the Steelers on the road to the Bears. The Bears are favored by 3 points. I actually probably should check about Aaron Rodgers if he's going to play with that broken wrist or if he's not. But yeah, important game for Pittsburgh. The Ravens, we'll talk about later, they're a very, very big favorites in their game. They're very likely to beat the New York Jets. So for me, kind of a must-win, really, for the Steelers. But I'm going to say that almost every game. The Bears are a tough team, tough to play them on the road. But I think they're winnable. But I think they probably need Aaron Rodgers to play. There's no final decision yet on if he's going to play. Yeah. For me, if Rudolph plays, they're done. If Rodgers plays, they've got a chance.
It's tough with that. I know it's that I watched PFT Live a little bit this morning before work, and they were saying it's his left hand, but it's just the stability of when you get hit and kind of taking the snap, isn't it? So it doesn't feel incredibly trustworthy, does it? To be honest with you, to come in. And obviously, Mason Rudolph is a backup that they trust, but I don't feel like somebody that I trust to come in on the road and win a huge game.
Yeah, I really don't think he's good at all, to be honest. I think he's one of them that's just like kind of hung around a team.
Yeah.
Enough, and he's done enough for that one team, but no other team in the NFL, I don't think, would would play him at this point. I think he went to Tennessee or somewhere, didn't he, for a small period of time. But yeah, I just don't think he's very good. So I think for me, if he plays, that'd be an awful loss for the Bears if they lose to Mason Rudolph-led Steelers team. But if Rodgers finds some way to play, I do think with the way the running games looked, Darnell Washington, who had the crazy play last week at tight end with them running the ball, I think they can do enough. But if Rudolph plays, I think Ben Johnson will just be too aggressive on offense for the Steelers. What if the Bears do win another game? That record, winning the division, that record's pretty sweet. Like, are we underestimating them, or is there some luck involved with this? Because Caleb Williams has definitely played better, but I saw a fun stat that after a player avoids a sack, so they've been touched and they avoid the sack, he's 36 out of 36 for EPA on plays. He avoids the sack. It's an incredible play. He somehow got away with it. And then what he does next is always a disaster. But then they keep winning games, and he's made some incredible throws to the likes of Loveland. He made a really good throw to DJ Moore last week or last game. So yeah, where are you at with the Bears?
Where I'm at is they've made the most of a good schedule. They've beaten who they should have beaten. If they beat Pittsburgh, it's likely to be their best win, the best defense that they've beaten. Maybe you could argue Minnesota. They'd be sitting at 8-3 with Philadelphia, the Packers twice, the Browns, the 49ers, and the Lions left to make the playoffs still. They have a high percentage chance of making the playoffs, but to still make the playoffs, they're going to have to beat a very good team. And they haven't proven that yet. And I think until they do, and until you see kind of Caleb do it, the skepticism kind of feels like it does have to remain, right? I'm not saying that they couldn't beat the Eagles on Black Friday next week either, to be honest with you. But until you've seen it happen, the skepticism has to remain, right?
Yeah, it does. And he's still, we keep using the word volatile quarterback, and it feels like that's the issue, isn't it? The run game's a lot better than it was last season. But yeah, he's still a little bit volatile, but he does make those big plays. And the defense has started to trend up slightly. Still concerned about their defensive line, but they've played quite well in the last two games. So that area of the field might be getting better for them. But yeah, this game's fascinating. I wouldn't want to actually bet on this game if, like, in real life, or watch this game if I was one of the fans. I feel like it could go either way. It's going to be ugly, I think.
Yeah, but totally fascinating. I think the Chiefs game and another one at this slate makes it a fantastic slate overall. You've no idea what's going to happen. I really hope that Rodgers plays, to be honest with you. If it's Mason Rudolph, obviously it takes away from the spectacle a little bit, doesn't it? But you never know, do you? But he has won NFL games before, but like you said, it's just like feels like a guy that the Steelers like having around.
Yeah, definitely. It does lose some intrigue. It's me to pick first. Like I said, it's Bears -3. I don't think I've picked the Bears many times this season, but I will definitely pick them because I just think the risk of Rudolph playing is too high for me. I think if he plays, they'll lose by a touchdown, if not double digits. So I'll go with the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chicago as well.
The next game then, this is a very exciting game. Patriots at the Bengals. It's very exciting for a certain reason. Joe Burrow practiced in full yesterday, due to probably practice in full today, was the rumors coming out of the press conference. They have claimed they're not sure if he's going to start or not, but I don't see any way that he practices in full and then doesn't start. We said last week they needed to win because Burrow probably won't come back to Thanksgiving. Now, if he comes back this week and they win here and Thanksgiving, they are still in with a chance, which is why he's coming back. So I kind of start all that to ask you, what do you think the spread is in this game? Because it's an interesting spread.
Patriots 5.5.
See, I would have said Patriots 4.
Yeah.
It's Patriots 7.5.
Wow. They love New England.
Yeah, and we're using the ESPN odds, by the way, for anyone listening, rather than the UK bookmakers, just because it's easier. So the article was updated today that we use. So in theory, that should be as of now, which is probably Joe Burrow playing. But let me just check to see if it's changed, because, yeah, I'm kind of showing my hand now on what I think of the spread if Burrow's playing. I think it's a bit crazy. Yeah, somewhere between 7.5 and 6.5 all around the world, basically. So we'll go with our line of 7.5. I think that's a very optimistic line if Joe Burrow does play. I know the defense is poor. I saw Dan Orlovsky do a piece on it this morning on ESPN where he mentioned even if Burrow plays, he'll have to score 30 points to win the game. But Burrow's basically had to score 30 points to win every game since he's been a starter, so I don't think that's going to phase him. I think Jamar Chase obviously suspended for this game, which adds an element. But yeah, him and T. Higgins are how many yards they combined for last season in big games. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting spread. I'd be feeling quietly confident with Burrow back if I was a Bengals fan that they could cause an issue in this game, because it's still the Patriots have played well, right? But it's not the Eagles coming into town who just won a Super Bowl. It's still a slightly different level of team, I think.
It is a different level of team, and I think, they got a good win. I just got the wins up now for New England, to be honest with you. Obviously, they've beaten Buffalo and they've beaten Tampa Bay. The rest has kind of it's been a nice schedule, a schedule that they'll won. With Burrow back, it would make this game so interesting, not just for our spread game, but overall, it just adds another element of kind of pressure to New England, depending on what would happen with Buffalo tonight. If Buffalo goes with the bookies and Buffalo are favourites and they win, they're right there. They wouldn't want to go in and lose a game against a 3-7 team. So it's all layered with kind of pressure situations, isn't it? Because obviously Burrow will be coming back and under pressure to knock off 4 in a row to get back to 500. So, yeah, fascinating game. Not going to help without Jamar Chase, obviously suspended for 1 game. Burrow always has a good rapport with Yoshivas as well, which I think
he does.
It's going to be a popular pick in fantasy football this week if you can kind of pick him up with Chase being out. So, yeah, really intriguing game. I do hope Joe Burrow's back. You don't want the top players in the league to be sidelined, do you? So I think having him back and a Bengals win would be fascinating just for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think there's a non-zero chance that we get Lamar, Josh, Mahomes, and Burrow still in the playoffs, and it's better for me if it's Rodgers and Trevor Lawrence and Mahomes, obviously. But as a neutral, that still being on the cards with the Colts team playing so well as one of your other teams, obviously, with the Denver Broncos team with second or best defense in the NFL. Like, I feel like as a neutral, you'd want that to happen, right? You want Burrow to get on a run. You want Lamar to win the division. Maybe you don't want the Chiefs because of obvious reasons, but I think, it's more exciting if Joe Burrow does it. And I think Thanksgiving's more fun as well if they win this game and it's a big moment. They then play their rival. They'll be thinking, we can win the division here and make the Ravens fight for a wildcard team. Yeah, I think it's an interesting game. Stephon Diggs is going to play despite, just had a baby actually, but he also has got 2 broken fingers, but he's going to play in this game. So the Patriots are pretty healthy as well. So they'll be coming in trying to win another big game on the road like they did against the Bucs. But yeah, this game should be fun. It's you to pick first, mate. Where are you going with the spread?
I'll have a big spread for once. I'll have Cincinnati plus 7.5.
That's no fun. I'm going the same.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals, if Joe Burrow plays, are going to win the game. That is the most Joe Burrow. I actually really on quarterback. I have learned to like him as a person, but historically, I've always found his what's the word, like the media's fascination with him a bit too much for the amount of wins that maybe he's had. But this is a very Joe Burrow game against Drake May, MVP, second favorite, best quarterback in the AFC this year. Most people think. For then Burrow to come in, throw for 400 yards and beat him, that's a Joe Burrow storyline for me. So I think they're going to try. I think they're going to win the game, and then Thanksgiving becomes very, very fun. On to another team then playing on Thanksgiving. We have the Vikings at the Packers. Packers are favored by 6.5 points at home. It's been going from 6.5 to 7.5. This isn't one we're spending loads of time on. We keep putting the Vikings in on our spreadsheet we use. We highlight the games we're going to spend more time on. We keep putting the Vikings in there, and they keep playing terrible every game. So we're not spending ages on this game. JJ McCarthy has said that he's been speaking about neurons in the brain and how hard it is to learn the quarterback position again, and he's had to teach himself everything from scratch. Kevin O'Connell has said that he needs the cement to start drying quickly. So things aren't all well in Minnesota, and I think the Packers are still a good team. I think they're probably better than Patrick thinks they are. So it's me to go first. I'm going to go Packers minus 6.5. I'm kind of out on JJ McCarthy. I think he might just be bad. So I'm going to go for the Packers.
I think the defense is too good. It's not that I think that they're bad. It's I want them to be bad. So, I think it's going to be too much. Minnesota are going to be a team to watch, I think, in the off-season. They're going to be really interesting. You lose this one, you go to 4-7. There's still some odd games on the schedule. It could get ugly. So, I'll go Packers.
Yeah. You said that with such disdain. Wait for the Packers-Lions game on Thursday. Thanksgiving. I know who you're picking on that one. Speaking of the Lions, they are at home against the Giants. Jared Goff is back indoors, basically, for the rest of the season. And at home, they are favored by 10.5 points. So this is one of our big spreads. We've got 3 big spreads back-to-back. These 3 games are probably going to decide who wins the week, it feels like, with with such big spreads. I haven't seen who's going to play quarterback. I don't know if Jackson Dart is back or not. I don't know if you've seen any news on PFT.
I have not seen anything.
Yeah, but yeah, Lions are outside the playoffs, very similar to the Chiefs. I think they were NFC favourites before the season. Now they're out of the playoffs. Maybe not as talked about because I think they've had some more interesting losses, whereas the Chiefs have maybe played poorly at times, whereas the Lions have just had some tough losses. Yeah, home 10.5 points. You to go first, actually. Where are you going to go with Lions minus 10.5?
I'll go Lions, I think, at home in a bit of a bounce-back game. Probably Jameis at quarterback. Kind of see, obviously, like you said, get Jared Goff back indoors. He had one of his worst games kind of ever, definitely, in his Detroit career last week. I think they'll bounce back. I think there'll be a lot of the run game will look much more lively this week. So, yeah, I'll go Detroit, but they're in a strange place. They have to win this game, to be honest, to keep pace in the north and then see what happens on Thanksgiving.
This is hard. Looks like Jackson Dart's going to play.
That's interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. I gotta go Lions. I'm going to regret that, but I'm going to go Lions minus 10.5 as well. Did you see Cam Scatterby, by the way, at WWE yesterday?
Loads of Giants fans have been giving him some stick, haven't they? And he had to put a little Twitter message out there. He's just warming up for his free agency to Philadelphia in 3 years' time.
Were they giving him a stick because he was like moving around?
Because he's been out and about, doing things. I think he's been somewhere else as well. I saw, and yeah.
I know he's got a Twitch show now, and he also, I don't know if you see this. Every 1,000 subscribers he gets, he does an energy drink out of a shoe live on air, which is wonderful. If he was playing, I might pick the Giants, but yeah, I'll go for the Lions. We have next the Jets at the Ravens. Biggest spread of the week. Ravens are favored by 14 points, which is big spread. The Jets have gone for Tyrod Taylor as well to start at quarterback. We'll see if that makes a big difference then. Tour's played really well since the trade deadline's come and gone. Ravens are trying to keep pace in the north, see if they can catch up on the Steelers if the Steelers lose. And then also now they've got another team maybe with the Bengals to think about. So big game for the Ravens at home. It's me to go first. I think I'm just going to have to pick a rogue one because we are the same on every single one. I'm not going to pick a rogue one in our next games. I'm going to go for the Jets plus 14. Ravens win the game, but maybe Tyrod Taylor scores a touchdown down 17 to cover the spread for me with a minute to go. I'm just going to go with that. I think Breece Hall will be able to get a lot of yards against the Ravens. You just need Tyrod Taylor to not turn the ball over. So yeah, I'll go for the Jets for some.
It's not that rogue. I'm going for the Jets. I've seen too many people this week are saying Baltimore have knocked off 4 games in a row, by the way, to get back to 500. The offense doesn't look good with Lamar back, with Henry back. They don't look good. The line doesn't look good at all. And Lamar has been okay, but not to his level since he came back. And Henry is not, the run game doesn't look as good. So Baltimore, I'm sure, will win this game, but they don't look great. And right now, you wouldn't be daunted by being somebody in the AFC wildcard and going to Baltimore in wildcard week. To be honest with you, I really, really don't think that you would at all. So I'll go Jets on the spread because Ravens, they've got some big games. Every single game after this is a huge game, by the way. Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So they're going to have to up their game.
They need to win this game just to get that extra win.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, they're going to have to play a lot better on offense. I think the defense might be what it is. So the offense needs to turn it up a couple of notches.
I didn't realize the schedule was so hard. I knew they played the Steelers twice, but yeah, that's a hard schedule. Yeah, I think they'll win as well. So annoying. I would have picked them minus 14 now. I only did that because I thought you were going on the other side. Last game in the early window, then we have the Seahawks at the Titans. This is our second biggest spread of the week, which is saying something because the Seahawks are on the road, but the Seahawks are favored on the road by 13 points.
Yeah,
which is a big spread. Sam Darnold could cause issues for you there with how he played at times the last couple of weeks. So there's always that risk. But I think it's you to go first, to be honest. But I think we're going to pick the same team here. Where are you going?
I'm going to Seattle. I don't trust against that defense, Cam Ward and the offense against the Seattle defense. They're going to want to wipe out the loss from last week. I'd expect a big victory, a big margin of victory this week.
Yeah, me too. This is one of my locks for sure. I honestly think they might cover 13 just on defense and special teams, potentially. That's how confident I am that we could see some picks in this game from Cam Ward. So yeah, I'll go Seattle as well. Which means through 8 games, we've got no differences yet. So we're playing it tight here. I think we might get a difference on this one, knowing my track record with this team. We're going to go for the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Jerry's World against the Cowboys. Cowboys, by the way, Eagles, then Chiefs. Jerry's rubbing his hands together with the money he's making from these two games being back to back. I assume this is the Tom Brady game as well, right? I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
He gets to listen to Big Tom for 3.5 hours. The spread is Eagles favoured by 4.5 points on the road, which I think is pretty fair, to be honest. I'd be surprised if it was less.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dallas coming off a big win, scoring a lot of points. Eagles coming off a big win, scoring hardly any points. What the hell is this game going to look like?
I don't know. The answer is I don't know, because the Eagles defense actually looks incredible the last couple of weeks, but the Dallas offense can move the ball and can score on anyone. Maybe kind of look at the Denver game where some mistakes were made. However, that was on the road, and I'd expect them to perform. But they look great against the Raiders on Monday night. Not saying a lot, but still they can move the ball at ease. This is a really interesting game because obviously we know kind of how poor the Dallas defense has been. So it looks a little bit better now. They've got Quinnen Williams in mid-season, but still not great. But obviously Philadelphia, if we're being honest, it looks like one of the worst offenses in the league, right? So it's like feels like a game where Philadelphia have to kind of get it going on offense, to be honest with you, and kind of get more drives going. That's not the 3 and out. Is just insane. And I don't know if you've seen the chart going around the Eagles are running hitch routes, a historic rate. Yeah, well, you'll enjoy that one. You can go find it on Twitter somewhere. Eagles are running hitch routes at a historical rate, and that is probably a bone of contention as to why the offense looks terrible, because they've got some of the best yard after catch receivers in football, and the hitch route stops them from running with the ball after they've caught it. So, it's interesting. I'm expecting an Eagles win, to be honest, because I just think the talent level all throughout the roster is probably better than anybody's. But I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if Dallas were 21-0 up in the second quarter and I was ready for turning the TV off, because this is my least favourite game of the season as well.
Yeah, and Dak played, was it week 1, wasn't it? They played in the link, and Dak played so well. That was a game you were at.
It was the game I was at, yeah.
Yeah, when Jalen Carter should have been suspended for longer, but he wasn't. That's a side issue. So yeah, I don't know. In my head, I think the Cowboys offense will look great, and the Eagles will have to catch up and score some high points to win. And then this is probably a perfect defense for the Eagles offense to score loads of points. Doesn't mean it'll look smooth, but there'll be 2 go balls to AJ Brown. There'll be an out route to Devontae Smith, and Saquon will make some linebacker miss for 20, 30 yards. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like for the Cowboys to win, they're gonna have to score loads of points. But I still could see the Eagles coming back. Do you know what I mean? And against this defense in particular. So yeah, I don't know how the game's gonna look. I don't think the Eagles are gonna be aggressive on offense. I think they'll only become aggressive if they're down double digits, because that's the way Jalen's played. He's played very conservative, not turn the ball over and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that could carve the defense up to some degree, as the corners still get used to playing together, depending on who's the outside guy. And yeah, the pass rush looks really good, but Cowboys' offensive line's been okay this season. So yeah, I don't really know how this game's going to look. This is going to be on my main screen unless the Chiefs lose to the Colts, and then on my main screen is going to be Netflix. So we'll see how the game looks. Is it me to go first? I think
it is you. Yeah,
we've got to have a difference this week, so I'm going to go for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
plus 4.5. We cannot have a week where we have the same with the same games. Eagles could still win by a field goal, Jake Elliott field goal. But yeah, I do think with the way he's playing, George Pickens looks great. CD looks good. And I think Dak's going to play well in this game. So I'll go for Cowboys plus 4.5 and hope they don't lose by 5 points.
Yeah, he loves playing the Eagles, to be fair. Dak, he's got a great record against them. So, yeah, I'll go Eagles, obviously. I would take a 1-point victory. I actually just want to get out of there with the win. But
yeah, that's a good one.
Got to go Eagles on the spread.
In Eagles circles on podcasts and stuff, is it all just like positive now that the defense is trending up because of Nolan Smith and Jalen Phillips, and then it's just all about the defense? Or is most of the talk like we need the 1 seed? Like, is it all just like no one cares about seeding? Because just as from my perspective, when the Chiefs kind of, at this point they're probably going to win the division, like as in the Eagles, it was always just like, right, how do we get the 1 seed? How do we get the 1 seed? The fans were not probably talking about the intricacies of the team. Eagles seem a bit different, but is that me judging it wrong?
No, that is completely different. I'm going to tell you, there's no one seed talk. You'll only hear that from me. The talk is that I'd say 85% the offense, and then 15% we're happy to shake hands with the defense, happy as it is, and send them out there with Vic Fangio, and they're going to do the business. But the chat is all about the offense, and it's either the season is likely to come down to that, whether that improves or it stays the same, and it's maybe a shocking playoff loss or something.
In the Super Bowl.
I'd take another Super Bowl appearance, to be honest with you, before we get there.
Any chance of the Cowboys making the playoffs? Where we're at? 10 seed. They've got 12% chance if they win, 2% if they lose. Feels unlikely, doesn't it? Feels like a weird season for them because it feels like they're going to have a lot to say on other teams, but then they're just going to be the 9 seed. It was a weird position to be in. You mentioned it pretty well the other day, and I hadn't really looked at it, but they should just need to win those 2 crap games they lost, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah. As far as the playoff goes, I think the numbers speak for themselves. They've got to beat the Eagles, but then they go in, play Kansas City and Detroit back to back. You know what you got to do? You got to go back to back and beat all those 3 teams. It's not that easy, is it? We've seen when they lost to the Broncos and Cardinals in kind of like convincing fashion that they're not very well put together, just as a roster, really, and just have some extremely good talent in places.
Yeah. The only difference was, I guess, if those 2 first games were on the road, but that's probably 3 of the hardest games you're going to get in this stage of any season. You normally get 1 in 3 where you're like, we'll be favoured, whereas they won't, they're not favoured for any of those games. So there we go. Let's rattle through the other 3 9 p.m. games then. The first one, we have the Jags at the Cardinals. Jags are favoured by 2.5 points on the road. They're all pretty big for the Jags. They've got an easy schedule, but they do lose easy games traditionally. So this is a game that I want to come in, find a way to win. For the Cardinals, they're still going with Brissett, and it's probably need to win a couple of games in the next 5 or 6 weeks to keep your job type season for Jonathan Gannon. If you to pick first, are you going to go Jags minus 2.5 or Cardinals plus 2.5?
I was very tempted to go Arizona. However, I've got some injuries. Obviously, Marvin Harrison's out. A couple of running backs are out. But do you know what? I'm going to go Arizona plus 2.5. I think they're going to win this game, and the Jags are going to let everyone down.
I will go with the Jags minus 2.5 as a reverse jinx. Because if they lose games, that's great for me. So I'll go with Jags minus 2.5. No other reason than reverse jinx. And I do think the defense could probably turn Brissett over a couple of times in this game. On to Vegas then. This is a sad game. Browns at the Raiders. We have Shador starting his first NFL game against his mentor, Tom Brady, who owns the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are favored at home by a full field goal, 3 points. Shador's first game was terrible. I've seen a lot of people talking about that now, and it was terrible. Me to pick first, I'm going to go for Raiders minus 3. I can't have Shador. I just think he is what he is, 5th round pick or whatever it was. I think the Raiders will win the game, and Brock Bowers might score 25 fantasy points for me, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. Could be low scoring just because of how good Myles Garrett's playing, but yeah, I think Shador might give 2 or 3 passes to the other team, so I'm going to go Raiders.
Yeah, what did he have? 4 or 5 sacks last week for Myles Garrett again. He didn't win the AFC Defensive Player of the Week either because the Browns lost. So, got to be Raiders. They've got to go with the Raiders. One thing I will say is, if Shador throws a touchdown pass or has a touchdown run, prepare to watch that over and over again on Twitter, on Instagram, anywhere that you go where there is NFL content, you will be watching that. I can assure you of that. But I'll stick with the Raiders.
Yeah, agreed. Shador Sanders, as some say, or Shador Saunders. We've got different options. So there we go. Falcons at the Saints is our last game. This game could be anything, by the way. This game, if anyone who doesn't support these 2 teams has got these on a big screen, then fair play to you. Saints favored at home by 1.5 points. You've got Kirk Cousins versus Tyler Shuck, so that's a fun matchup for everyone. You to go first. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, obviously Pennick's done now for the season, isn't he? But I'm going to go New Orleans. I think rather than back on Kirk Cousins, I'm not sure what he has left, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to go New Orleans for a win. Why not?
I'm going to go with the best quarterback on the Falcons roster and go for Kirky Boy plus 1.5 points to cover the spread. Kirk and the running game, because I think Drake London might be injured as well. Yeah, I'll go with Kirk plus 1.5. Anything could happen in this game, but Kirk's got a job to fight for somewhere next year, so he's going to try and win a football game. After having no differences early, we're all different in the 9 p.m. win. We'll do the same as we did last week and go to Monday night first because it's a worse game. We've got the Panthers at the 49ers. Brock Purdy obviously back. Rico Dow playing so well for the Panthers, but the 49ers are favored at home by 6.5 points. I think the Panthers might have some joy in the run game with how banged up the 49ers are on defense. But Kyle Shanahan, we keep banging on about, has got the offense playing really well. Brock Purdy, should be healthier and healthier as the season goes on. So yeah, it's me to go first. I'm going to go for the 49ers minus 6.5. I think the Panthers, to be fair, have probably kept Canales in with the job. He has coached well this season. I'm still not sure about Bryce, but I think Canales is going to be there for next season. They'll run the ball really well, but yeah, I still think the 49ers might score enough points in the red zone to win the game. So I'll go for 49ers minus 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. However, what I will say is this is like huge for Carolina if the game that we're going to talk about next goes to the favourites and the Rams beat the Bucs, then Panthers could go top of the division by winning this game, which just seems insane at this point of the season because still I feel like what we 3 seasons in, still really don't have a handle on Bryce Young, who threw for 450 yards last week. And then the week before, threw less than 100 yards at home. It's just insane, to be honest with you, how to even get a handle on that. But I'll go 49ers. I think they got some finishers. With Purdy come back, they'll be a tough 7th seed if they get the 7th seed.
Yeah, I would agree. They're currently the 7th seed, aren't they, as well? So yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. If the Panthers win, by the way, they go to 35% probability to make the playoffs, which is not bad for a team outside of the playoffs as we speak. If they lose, they go down to 10%. So it is a big game for them. Again, the game we are going to talk about now is going to be key to that. And that is Sunday Night Football. We have the Bucs at the Rams. The Rams are favored at home by 6.5 points. Is Baker Mayfield going onto the road to the team that he kind of revived his career at, weirdly, for that 1 week where he had 2 days notice and won a game in overtime? For Sean McVay. But yeah, Rams favored at home, mate. This game should be fun. The Bucs have proved last week they can put points up in bunches. They probably need Baker to be a little bit safer with the football, but I'm kind of more interested to see if the Bucs defense can get back to weeks 1 to 4 where it looks really good and slow a really good Rams offense down at all, or is this going to be Stafford throwing it all over the yard, Kyren Williams running the ball over the place, and Baker having to be perfect on 4th down to catch up? I'm not quite sure, but for the Bucs to win, I think the defense needs to get back to early in the season.
Yeah, 100% said that last week. I think Todd Bowles' defense has got to have a good, strong look at itself if they want to improve on any seasons that they've had recently, really. Obviously, last season, they got beat by Washington, didn't they, at home in the playoffs. So for that to be avoided this season, the defense has got to play better. Some of the talent is still there on defense. It's just, I'd worry this week, to be honest with you, at LA, who look as good as anybody in the NFL, to be honest. Whether you want to, Baker will sling the ball, however, whether they're in front or behind, right? So that's not going to be alien to kind of them. It's just, you don't want to go into every game against a good team and feel like you need to be keeping up every single drive. At some point, you have to get some stops early and play ahead of the game, don't you? So it's just, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the Bucs, to be honest with you. Kind of the last 2 losses that they've had, and obviously the record, and if they lose this one, it's tight. They have an easy schedule the rest of the way, but feels like a one-and-done team in the playoffs at the moment, which would be a shame because I really like Baker, and I kind of like the franchise as well.
Yeah, they're going to need the offense to get healthier and just be one of those playoff teams that scores 30 points in every playoff game, and the defense has to be opportunistic because it just doesn't look good enough at the moment. But they've been hit by the injury bug on both sides of the ball, which, it's not all their fault. But yeah, their last couple of performances have had definitely some big highs, but some big lows as well. They're very volatile in every game they play, that's for sure. If they win, by the way, they have a 95% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, they still have 85%. And that's because of the schedule. The Panthers game, I don't know if they played them twice or just once. Yeah, twice. So that's what it is. But again, when you play a team twice, you do open up the chance that they beat you twice.
Of course.
So, yeah, I'll be interested to see how they play in this game. And for the Rams, it's another good chance to set your stall out, be good on offense. Stafford looked like the MVP favorite that he is. Run the ball really well. and then the pass rush try and cause some damage to Baker Mayfield because the right guard, right tackle situation, the Buccaneers given up a lot of pressure since the injuries this season. So I think the defense could look pretty good.
I think this is the 1 seed, by the way, in the NFC. To be honest with you, the Rams. They got a nice schedule, to be honest. So
if they beat the Seahawks again as well, especially then.
Yeah.
Just seen a funny video come out. Someone asked Aaron Rodgers, is there more incentive to make sure you play this week against a team that you own? The Steelers guy said. And he said there's incentive for every opponent, but I have enjoyed many Sunday, Monday, and Thursdays in Chicago, that's for sure. I think Aaron Rodgers might play on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Judging by that. Makes me feel like I should have picked the Steelers, but there we go. Cool. I think I know where we're going with this one. Bucks at Rams. Rams favored by 6.5. It is you to go first.
I'm going LA.
Yeah, I'm going LA too. I do see the Bucks have a chance in this game, especially like you said, if they get a couple of stops early. But if they don't, I think it's just a long day for them to keep up again with all the injuries they've got. But I expect to see Tucker and Irving get some good yards for sure on the ground for this game. Cool. That's it for all of our Week 12 games. So our differences are all in the 9 p.m. window. So either I'll find out Monday when I've thrown my toys out the pram and not watched the 9 p.m. window, or I'll be watching it with glee and seeing how these results come in. But I've gone for the Cowboys plus 4.5. Patrick's gone for the Eagles minus 4.5. I've gone for the Jags minus 2.5. Patrick's gone for the Cards plus 2.5. And last but not least, I've gone for the Falcons plus 1.5. Patrick's gone for the Saints minus 1.5. So there we go. I've got Dak, Trevor Lawrence, and Kirk Cousins. You've got Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Brissett, and Tyler Shough. So that's what our weekends rely on, which should be fun. A little bit of a programming note to end. I think we're going to do a review pod as usual on Monday. And then on that pod, we're going to preview the Thanksgiving games, which happen on Thursday night. And then on Friday is going to be our next pod after that. And we're going to talk about the 3 games that happened the night before because they're all big and all really important for the rest of the season. So we're going to spend some time talking about those. And then we'll preview the rest of the games at that point. We might also do the Black Friday game on Monday. We'll see how we are for time. But that's the plan for next week. You can go follow us at Go42Pod on Twitter/X. And you can go follow Patrick as well at MugsNFL. To get any of your Tyler Shough related hoodies and t-shirts. Enjoy your weekend, everyone, and we will speak to you guys soon.
Speak to you soon, everyone.